The weather often acts as a vehicle for our moods and our emotions. Sunny days are associated with happiness, while violent storms bring despair. Rain is more emotionally ambiguous, and it's with this type of weather that we can equate love. You may have felt the safety of staying out of it when it was too strong, or you may have experienced the joy of letting yourself be showered by it. Directed by Irene Villamor, Ulan, which translates to rain, tells the story of Maya and her experiences with love from childhood to adulthood, each marked by an episode of rain. With each experience more confusing than the next, Maya makes sense of them by perceiving and applying fantastic figures, such as tikbalang or human-sized eggs. This recurring brand of storytelling, in which magical, supernatural elements appear nonchalantly within an otherwise realistic, mundane context, is known as magic realism. I believe that Villamor employs magic realism to represent the childlike innocence that appears when first approaching love. Furthermore, I believe that she uses it to suggest that we are allowed to revisit love as adults and obtain a more experienced understanding of it. As it applies to Ulan, although the movie follows Maya from an optimistic introduction to love through a series of tragedies, we ultimately learn that we must accept the happiness and the hurt that comes with loving others. And more importantly, we must leave room to love ourselves through it all. Before I move on, I'd like to point out that there may be some spoilers in this video, so please be warned. And for everyone watching, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more movie reviews, discussions, and other content. Now back to the video. What is magic realism? According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, it is a chiefly Latin American narrative strategy that is characterized by the matter-of-fact inclusion of fantastic or mythical elements into seemingly realistic fiction. Although it is a broad concept, and Villamor notes that it's not often seen in the mainstream films of the Philippines, you'd be familiar with it if you've seen popular international works such as Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth or The Shape of Water. In these movies, there are realistic historical contexts that aren't obstructed by the inclusion of supernatural elements. For any story with magic realism, we are to accept that every element actually exists unquestioned within the viewer's reality and not a fictional one. Often this creates a slightly horrific and unsettling vibe, but that's not to say it's not used for thematic effect. Maya, who like everyone goes through an uncomfortable childhood, finds comfort in encountering magical figures. To understand the phenomenon of sun showers, for instance, Maya witnesses a marriage between tikbalang horse creatures and makes a connection between the two events, that these are occurrences that are supposedly never meant to be. Despite the implication that their existence is a slight against the natural order of things, they continue to exist in an almost romantic act of defiance. Seeing as the creatures appear to be flimsily designed and are surrounded by the tender event of a marriage during the warm hours of sunset, I feel that this strongly appeals to the innocence of a young Maya. She can entrust her safety with her environment. The tikbalang uses appeal to go on to suggest to Maya that true love cannot die, softly establishing through magical realism Maya's initial hopes and expectations for love. Following her meeting with the tikbalang, Maya ventures through her childhood, going through the sadness of unrequited and insecure love, perceiving magically realistic, human-sized eggs and the personification of a storm along the way. Because of what the tikbalang taught her, Maya attributes her shortcomings as to not having experienced true love. To poignant effect, Villamor eventually sabotages the air of infallibility surrounding the magical realism, tearing down the tikbalang's lessons to come to the truth. This process occurs further along in Maya's life, when she has long outgrown the vulnerability of her childhood. When she meets Peter, she is initially hesitant to let him into her life. Why make another attempt at love when all it ends up in is suffering? Nevertheless, Maya makes a slight push towards a connection, but learns Peter is a seminarian who cannot pursue romance. Once again, despite this great obstacle, Maya and Peter overcome their inner conflicts, keeping them apart. Maya is willing to open herself up despite her past experiences, and Peter is willing to reconsider his religious duties to be with Maya. As it appears they have bested even divine intervention by circumventing religious faith, to Maya, her relationship with Peter must be none other than true love. And it's at this point Villamor directly contradicts the tikbalang statement, "True love cannot die," which she does by having Peter die in a flood on his way to see Maya. Maya, overcome with grief, perceives the tikbalang for the first time since her childhood and confronts them over their supposed lie. Although their teachings have been shown to be imperfect, they are empathetic and still able to act as a source of comfort for Maya, even as an adult. They console her through the night and allow her to accept a new reality that she has learned for herself, that although true love can die, It exists, and she is stronger for having experienced the great joy and pain of having and losing it. Waking up the next day to a sun shower, Maya finally perceives and dances with her younger self, signifying her new understanding and love for herself. This episode 2 marked by rain. From Ulan start to finish, magical realism is easily understood as magical elements used to enhance our basic conceptions of reality. Under the guise of safety and innocence, these elements reflect our presumptions about love, that it too is safe and innocent. However, the film teaches us that these elements can be at fault. Ultimately, although love is shown to be vulnerable and not set in stone as presumed, there is comfort in knowing that one can persevere through any kind of hardship. The reality to come is whatever one fantasizes. Thank you for watching my quick analysis of Ulan. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Feel free to comment below and share your own thoughts about the movie. Until next time.